dramatic shift is underway for Harvard's scientific community, and you'll want to keep reading, because the story is far from over and raising eyebrows in institutions nationwide. After years of mounting uncertainty, Harvard researchers have finally started receiving notifications from federal agencies announcing the return of research grants and contracts that had been frozen since the Trump administration abruptly put a halt to $2.7 billion in academic funding this past spring. This decisive action follows closely on the heels of a federal judge's decision, which sharply criticized the administration's motives, branding the White House claim that the freeze was to combat campus antisemitism as nothing more than a smokescreen, a cover for targeting Harvard and other select universities. According to a Harvard spokesperson, the university has now started receiving official notices that several previously revoked federal research awards are scheduled for reinstatement, with messages arriving from a range of government agencies. However, it's important to note that as of now, these notices have not yet been backed up by actual transferred funds. Payments from these grants remain pending, leaving researchers in a kind of financial limbo. When pressed for details, Harvard declined to specify exactly how much funding is on the horizon or how many grants are being restored. This silence has only added to the suspense. The National Institutes of Health, NIH, which is the largest source of Harvard's federal funding, accounting for an astonishing 70%, has reportedly not released any grant money to Harvard since Judge Allison D. Burroughs handed down her decisive ruling last week. For faculty and research staff at the Harvard School of Public Health, where federal support is especially crucial, the news is particularly nerve-wracking. An email sent to researchers made it clear that despite the positive developments, actual funds still hadn't arrived. Given that we are still not receiving payments, please continue to follow the bridging plans that have been established in partnership with your departments, wrote Kate Calvin, the school's executive dean of administration, signaling the ongoing need for contingency measures. As yet, neither the White House nor any of the 9 separate federal agencies that froze Harvard's grants in May have replied to requests for comment about how or when they plan to restart the funding process. Notably, the news of reinstatements was originally brought to light by the New York Times, who referenced anonymous sources. Judge Burroughs' ruling last week went beyond a mere slap on the wrist. She determined that the Trump administration's freeze was not only unauthorized, but also punitive, serving as retaliation against Harvard for refusing to comply with certain federal demands. Her court order blocked further enforcement of the funding halt and prevented future attempts to attach unconstitutional strings to federal grants for Harvard, a move that has breathed new hope into shuttered labs and anxious researchers. But here's where the story takes a controversial turn. Almost immediately after Judge Burroughs' decision, the Trump administration announced plans to appeal, even though they have yet to officially file the necessary court documents. Unless an appeals court moves to intervene, the usual grant disbursing procedures are supposed to resume. Interestingly, this isn't the first time Harvard has received notifications of awards since the freeze began. Back in July, NIH attempted to release some grant funds to Harvard in response to another federal court ruling. However, officials from the Department of Government Efficiency, a group known for cost-cutting, intervened, leveraging their influence over the grant system to block the transfer. The rationale? Unless a settlement was reached with the White House, no funds would make it to Cambridge. And this is the part most people miss. Was the freeze truly about concerns over campus antisemitism? Or was it a political move targeting elite institutions? Does Judge Burroughs' injunction set a new precedent against using federal funding as a weapon in broader cultural battles? What's your take? Is this ruling a necessary defense of academic freedom and research? Or does it risk setting the stage for more legal gridlock between universities and the government? Should agencies have the power to suspend funding for political reasons? Let us know what you think. Does this announcement restore your faith in the system or only raise more troubling questions about the future of research funding in the United States? Join the debate in the comments below.